is up? R32 GTR back again, and I've got a 700 horsepower R32 GTR for you this time. This GTR is a bit different than your normal 700 horsepower GTR because it's got a GTST block. So it's got a RB25 bottom end that's been stroked out to a 2.8 liter, and it still uses the RB26 head. Completely built, uses a Platinum Racing Products brace. He's got it pushing 700 horsepower through a T51R turbo. It's an old school turbo, and you can definitely feel the lag in it, but it comes on and it stays on. It's really nice. So the owner, Michael, built this car as your typical weekend warrior, but in true fashion, he actually does use it at the track, and it's very much a track-focused car. Got R35 brakes, which are the 390 millimeter up front and 380 millimeter up at the back, so that he has that stopping power to pull up from some high speeds. And this car will definitely get there. So the one thing that I think all GTR owners are kind of guilty of at some point is building these cars the wrong way, because this thing's got 700 horsepower, it's got all the fruit in the engine bay, got awesome brakes, awesome wheels, awesome tires, but standard gearbox. So yeah, you kind of have to worry because third gear is not gonna just last forever, and the synchros in the stock gearbox really aren't the best. So I think we build these cars wrong, but needless to say, this thing's awesome. Like, very meticulous build. Everything presents really well. I'm just kind of cruising along right now, and I'm enjoying it. Now, being that this is a track-focused car, the suspension and the suspension arms are well taken care of. He's got, I think it's called Aragosta suspension, IKEA formula arms everywhere. Every single bush has been changed. Yeah, it handles very well. It feels really nice. Speaking of feeling, the one thing I probably don't like actually is the boss and wheel kit. And it's just because I'm a bigger guy. Like, I know the correct driving position is to have your arms at your sides and, as close to the steering wheel as you can get. But for street driving, which this car serves both purposes, I just find it a bit annoying because I'm reaching for the indicator all the time, and I've got big hands, so it's like it should be pretty just easy for me to grab it. But I find it's a little hard at times, and the steering position for me is just like uncomfortable. I would love this at the track, but for the street, you like to be kind of lazy boy a little bit, Yeah, so it's just a really well put together car. So one of the other things about this car that I'm finding myself actually liking a whole lot more than I thought I would is the fact that it's got a plumbed in wastegate. And typically in a GTR, at least here in Australia, is you always hear that external gate. You hear a GTR because it's just angry as shit. Like, because it's got the wastegate plumbed in, it's pretty quiet, but it still is very, very angry. It's so good. And the brakes are killer. Oh my goodness. So when you get onto it and you're actually accelerating, when you got external gate, everyone can hear you from a mile away, like, rah, the thing's coming. With this, all the sound's directed to the back of the car. So you don't necessarily hear the car just screaming up at you, which I think is actually a pretty good thing. I think the only negative things that I would have to say are probably the turbo comes on a bit later than I would like. It's on, I think it's at 5200 is when I'm making full steam. And then I've got the, and then because it's got the Boston hub kit on the steering wheel, I've got to like reach to get the indicator. Like stuff that you really don't care about, but just if you're driving the car enough, it becomes annoying. And then he's got this really cool kind of HKS glove box where the gauges, and he's got a couple of accessory slots in the glove box. But it's really hard to see that stuff. I don't know if that's just for show or not, but I think if I was to do any gauges, I can see why guys do the race pack. But it is a very cool feature, and it's very period correct for a car like this, so it's pretty Awesome. He's kept the car on the outside, you know, pretty basic as any GTR owner kind of does. He has TE37s for the wheels, and then he's got semi-slicks for the tires, just so that he can always be prepped for a track day. But other than that, like, the interior of this car is really well put together. The seats were re-dyed, and you can tell because they got like a really dark black almost color to them. And what happens in an R32 GTR is the seats fade and kind of turn into like a bluish tinge. So yeah, it looks really good when it's been re-dyed. I like that. That's a really good touch. He's got a factory radio in here. He's got the gauges. It looks like a standard car on the inside apart from the steering wheel. So yeah, I applaud him. It's a really well and nicely put together car. And I mean, it is a street car. Like, I can turn the AC on. I can freaking sit here in basic and in comfort. Although I think I'm gonna turn the AC off because it's probably a little loud for you guys. So yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing about this car, there's nothing about any GTR that you couldn't like. You know, when I come on boost, I need to be focused and ready to tame the wheel because the car kind of wants to go where it wants to go. Which is one of those aspects about the car that you just love. Like, you're constantly fighting the car to stay on the road, which, yeah, it could be a bit dangerous, but that's what makes these cars so great. The owner, Michael, has been into GTRs for a very long time. He's had 3 previous GTRs. You know, he's one of the Gran Turismo era guys, so he's followed these cars for a very long time. And yeah, it's been an honor and a pleasure to drive this thing. So to you, I say thank you.